Good day, everyone. I hope you are all doing fine. Here I am to present another video to fulfill the needed requirement in this course. Just like what you can see in the slide, I am John Raven Marasigan, currently in my second year in BSED course, majoring in Filipino, and you can also see my contact information below if you have any questions after you have watched this video. Without further ado, let's start this discussion. Before I introduce my topic, let's have a simple mind game. Do not worry, this is not a waste of time, but rather relatable to what I'm going to discuss. Look carefully at the picture, read the instruction, and analyze the problem. It's a very simple problem actually. You just need to connect the 9 dots with just 3 straight lines. I will just give you a couple of seconds to answer this, but you can pause this video if you want to thoroughly answer this. Let's start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Again, you can pause this video if you needed more time to answer this problem. Now let's move on to the answer. I'll show you the common answer that many of us might think, which makes this problem complicated. Yet if you know the answer, you'll find this problem very simple. Let's try to answer this. This first one is wrong, the next one is wrong, and this last one is also wrong. We cannot solve this problem if we still stick to this kind of pattern of thinking. So here is the answer. Look, it is very simple, easy as that. Just simple, right? So many tend to answer this hard because they cage themselves, thinking only on the parameter of the problem. They subconsciously put a box to the problem, yet the answer lies outside the box. So we must think creatively to answer most of the problem, just like this one. So the topic that I'm going to discuss is why encourage creative thinking in schools. If you look back to the game, it is related, connected, and has relation to the topic that I'm going to discuss today. But before we answer this question, this deep and broad question, let's first chop this into smaller chunks so that we can understand better first what is creative thinking all about, then we proceed to why it is needed to encourage teaching in schools. Let us first give their definition. Let's split these two words to get the root ideas of them. First is the word creative, which according to Human Motivation 3rd ed. by Robert E. Franken, page 396, defined as the tendency to generate or recognize ideas, alternatives, or possibilities. Next is thinking, which according to Merriam-Webster dictionary is defined as the action of using one's mind to produce thoughts. So now what will be the idea formed if these two words were combined? And as you can see, creative thinking is intentionally gaining new insights and different ideas through existing information. It involves tapping into different styles of thinking and examining information from different viewpoints to see new patterns. So it means that this is just one of the types of thinking, and this type focuses on thinking and viewing something new from another view and perspective. Just what we do in first part of this video, we play a game in which the answer lies outside the box, which means can only be answered if we see the problem in a different view, and that is what we call creative thinking. Next is creative thinking versus critical thinking. Just like what I have mentioned earlier, creative thinking is not the only type of thinking we use. Commonly, critical thinking is the more emphasized and more used in schools and learning. If creative thinking generates new ideas from existing knowledge, the critical thinking in other part analyzes those existing knowledge to understand better and connect each idea. Critical thinking is more emphasized in learning because schools teaches what is already existed. Though creative thinking is also being taught, it is better if they are both equally teach, since not every problem cannot be solved in the same manner or pattern if we just analyze the information that is already existed. We must teach students that thinking something new or generate a new pattern of solving is also one of the ways to solve a problem. Though these two concepts or way of thinking do not oppose each other but rather support and supplement each other. One thinking style cannot stand alone because it depends on what is being asked in a given situation. What I just want to pertain and put into is that creative thinking must be also one of the focuses in schools. I will show you some studies that shows the effectiveness of creative thinking and how it affects the learners in different aspects to strengthen my claim and make you more persuade to what I'm saying, that I do not discuss this all information based from my own opinion but from finding facts and studies to support my opinion. So these are just two of many studies that prove the effectiveness of creative thinking for learners. So the first one is about the study of Farhan et al. Entitled Students' Creative Thinking Skills and Impact on Learning Outcomes in Physics Laboratory 2 Academic using the Learning Model Project Base. Though the study has its scope and limitation in their school, it does not limit the essence of the result. Their study shows that creative thinking has a significant effect on achieving their learning outcomes. So the next study is by Alzobi et al. Entitled The Effect of Creative Thinking Education in Enhancing Creative Self-Efficacy and Cognitive Motivation, in which the result shows that creative thinking also contributes to other aspects a learner must needed to develop, such as self-efficacy and cognitive motivation. Their study stated that this education or type of thinking, this creative thinking, also allowed students to use strategies that invoke their curiosity and exploration of ambiguous aspects of various situations in a safe and supportive atmosphere away from criticism and ridicule. During the experiment, students used their imagination related to creative thinking strategy and dealt with the ambiguity of situations which freed them from traditional way of thinking. In conclusion, it is very beneficial for all the students if they are given the opportunity to better practice, develop, and enhance their creative skills or creative thinking. It helps them to generate something new, which even the next generations will might benefit from them, unlike just staying in the same old pattern of learning and thinking. It is essential for us to learn critical thinking, yeah, but we must be aware that creative thinking is related to that. They are paired needed to learn to be an effective learner. Here are some quotes related to how important creative thinking is. So the first quote is stated by Jan Kao, in which he says that creativity is a crucial variable in the process of turning knowledge into a value. So this quote means that knowledge can only be valuable if it is useful, and creativity, which relates to creative thinking, is one of the ways how we can turn knowledge to a valuable thing. So next is learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge. Knowledge makes you great. So this quote is by Abdul Kalam, which emphasizes the process and the relationship between creativity, knowledge, and thinking. And we can notice that this is how creative thinking functions. Just like in this last quote by Edward de Bono, there is no doubt that creativity is the most important human resource of all. Without creativity, there would be no progress, and we would be forever repeating the same pattern. So there is no progress if we stay in the same pattern. Just like thinking, we must learn how to generate something new, since progress does not only happen if we take a step forward, following the same path but ended up with a repetitive ending. Let's understand the value of the new way of thinking, viewing problem in a different perspective, and this way of thinking must encourage in schools. So let's learn to think outside the box, or better, get rid of that box. So thank you for watching.